the plan today is just to go through the spoilers that have been out there and kind of talk through all this stuff, and we'll see how this goes. So we're going to start with the Galactic Republic spoilers. So we're just going to briefly talk about what we've seen, what our impressions of them are, and then we'll get into some of the new stuff. The Galactic Republic commanders, we've got Obi-Wan and Bail, and really different commanders, but the same cost at 28 points each. Now, I like both of them. Bail is sort of what kind of Thrawn-like in a way, but I don't know. You have the opportunity to be more targeted with your tokens, but you don't like hit your whole fleet at once. I think he's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think he's fantastic. So Thrawn's obviously going to be more economical because he's going to hit everybody. But if you've got a smaller fleet, like say you eventually, I don't know, have a 2-ship fleet, there's 2 larges or something like that, Bail gives you quite a lot of economy. And it's just, that flexibility is great. I mean, honestly, Thrawn's probably a little cheap for what he does. So I think Bail is just fairly costed and just a little bit more flexible. Yeah. I see buying him for a squadron fleet, especially just so that you can have those nav commands and those repair commands that you probably otherwise wouldn't because you're spamming squadron.
Gene did ask the symbology on the left, so if you didn't catch the stream, what happens is Bail gets to start with 5 tokens on his card. It's a mix. You get to decide between nav and repair, and then what his text says is when you're going to reveal a command dial, you can discard one of those tokens to give them an additional command dial. So he can only do nav and repair, unlike Thrawn, but he gets a little more flexibility, and you don't all have to do the same thing each turn. I think he's going to be a great staple commander for the Republic at the start. And then Obi-Wan, we saw, what was it, back in March? Yeah. I threw him up here just so we could kind of be reminded for comparison, but he's an amazing defensive admiral.
So good. He just works. And I think he's just kind of, I mean, we obviously don't know what the rest of the Republic commanders look like, but I think he just screams default commander to me. Like, he will work with both the ships that we see now, and I wouldn't be surprised if he works with every ship for the Republic. Just if you have a redirect, he's just great. Just being able to reduce damage, just straight up off the top. No other qualifiers.
Checks, so nice. Now, the one thing we did see though is from the Republic ships we've seen so far, we don't have a double redirect ship, which would obviously make him much stronger. But
strong.
Yeah. But I think he's still going to just be a really nice commander for that. So let's look at the ships we've got here. So this is captured off. That, by the way, that hype trailer was awesome. But this was captured off the hype trailer. And so we've got the Acclimator 1 and 2. So what are we seeing now? Over on the left, we've got the nav chart. And one click of yaw, no matter what speed you're going, isn't fantastic. Where the clicks are, at least, is pretty good. That early click on speed 2 and the middle click on speed 3 is better than having them on the end, I think. It's the ability to go speed 3 at least gives it a chance to escape or chase somebody down, even if it's not great. So that's nice. The defense token mix is nothing redundant, but brace, redirect, salvo. I mean, can't complain with that. It's not a bad set. So I like it. We've got
that Acclimator 1 is so stinking cheap for a medium. 66 points for, we got 7 hull there, 4 shields in the front, 2 on each side. That is a tough ship for really cheap. And it looks like it's going to be a good squadron pusher too.
Yeah, I think the Acclimator, I mean, it's got some problems in the lack of redundant defense tokens in the not great nav chart, but you're not paying a lot for the thing. So I think it's definitely going to have a place. I think I like it more than the Vic. So I think that's going to be there. Now, they talked about this in the stream yesterday, but these keywords, or what they call them, traits, clone transport and clone bombard transport, those don't do anything by themselves, but they do interact with other cards. We'll see some of the cards those interact with in a couple slides here. So that's that's just something to watch for. And I think if we get, I don't even know if it's an if, probably when we get a Clone Wars version of like Rebellion in the Rim, I could totally see the objectives for that. Like you have to bring transport ships to do planetary assault or something, something like that going on for sure.
Heck, we might even be able to get them in just new red, yellow, and blue objectives.
We might, and I think, yeah, but that's, you know, again, we'd have to get the old ships updated to have those traits before I think we're gonna get them outside for that. We look at the upgrades on these, you know, the Acclimator 1 with the double offensive retrofit's nice because you can go boosted, expanded, or reserve hangar decks and combo those up however you need. So it's, like I said, great squadron pusher. Acclimator 2 can be a little tougher with the defensive retrofit, but I think both of these things are going to be staples for a while for the Republic.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, I think it would lend themselves well to an approach that you like to take, Schmitty, where it's just upgrade low.
Yeah.
Like 66 points on the Acclimator 1. It's got some pretty great stuff all on its own. Just that, you know, 3 reds, 2 blacks. Just get some light dice fixing, call it done. Because the Acclimator 1 doesn't have a defensive like the Acclimator 2, and that's usually, you know, a big problem a lot of people have with these ships, or with a ship, medium and above. But I think it's cheap enough if you keep it light that it doesn't need it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's just efficient, is what
especially
it is.
With that, especially with the salvo there.
Yeah.
Like I think I really like about what salvo is doing to the game is it forces that. Okay, you're gonna lock down my brace, but it's gonna hurt for you too.
Absolutely. Yeah, so let's take a look then at the consular. Now, we can see on the first consular, we can see its traits, it has clone, but the armed cruiser, we can't see its traits. So, you know, maybe that isn't a clone ship, which might affect.
I think we were explicitly told that it isn't.
Okay.
In the,
that's right.
in the stream.
So that's going to be different now. It's the armed cruisers cheap at 37 points, which is good. And I think in another shot somewhere we've seen it has 2 blue flak dice, 37 points for double blue flak. That is amazing.
Yeah, it's a great little flak boat. I kind of wonder what the rest of the armament looks like.
Right.
Everything the Raider wished it could be.
Yeah. It probably is armed kind of like the Raider or the Hammerhead, I would imagine.
Does it have a turbo? Probably.
We don't know.
Yeah, because all we see right here in this slide is the Charger, the C-70. But I mean, what we see from this, I love what I see from this.
So one of the things that I do love that I've noted about, so we've got the nav chart for the consular, and we're going to assume it's the same because they almost always are with the 2 classes. I think they always are with the 2 classes. And we've seen the nav chart with the Acclimator. In both cases, this fleet is going to love take evasive action. So flag bridge, take evasive action, because they don't, except for speed 1 consulars, they never have 2 clicks in their last speed. So that's going to be always a benefit there to do. So I would flag bridge T quite a bit, I think, with this fleet.
Yeah, man, and having that 1 click at the first joint at every speed, that is a very, very nice ship.
That is a very nice ship. I'm excited about that. Otherwise, I mean, the consular looks similar-ish to the CR90, but it's got the whole of the CR90 and the defense tokens of a Hammerhead. It's gonna be squishy. It's gonna be really squishy.
But what I like here is that
appropriately for the point cost.
What I like here is you have 2 reds out the side.
Yeah.
So this ship, even more than the CR90, can kind of do that kiting approach, where it can just keep itself at long. You keep the dice coming at it down. I really like combining this with Kenobi and expert shield techs. If you can get some, like, probably LTTs on this thing instead of TRCs, but if you can consistently double arc with the front and the side and keep it long range, man, you could cancel 3 to 4 damage with Kenobi, EST, and evade at the same time. depending on what you cancel with the evade. But it's just such a annoying little ship.
No, it's gonna be squishy, but it's cheap enough that I don't think anyone's gonna care. And that double blue flak, man, that's gonna be a thing. Let's go ahead and move on to Squadrons. Now, we did see like the cardboard on most of them, so I think a lot of people noticed the ARC 170 has 7-hull, which is going to be tough.
Spicy.
I love the Torrent. Man, it is a cool escort for 12 points.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like an X-Wing. It doesn't hit quite as hard in the anti-squad game, but the built-in swarm.
But it's got swarm to make up for that. And
Yeah,
what I really love about it is it doesn't need bomber. It's basically an A-wing when it comes to bombing. It just has that solid black, no need for any help from Bomber Command Center or anything like that. And you can just stick some specialists in the center of these things and just make them your line for the Republic. It's just such a solid squadron to build around. I really love it.
And swarm means that you can use reserve hangar decks.
Yeah.
So
jury's out on whether that'll be worthwhile, because you're got a 5-hull squadron coming back with 2-hull, but I mean
it's still
not dead,
it doesn't die. Yeah, that's 12 points no one has scored yet.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a place for it. And then the Ether Sprite, 17 points. This is an expensive generic. It's our most expensive generic?
No, the
Decimator.
The Decimator's quite a bit pricier than that.
Our most expensive non-rogue generic. Fine, I'll really qualify that.
Okay, okay, sure.
It's expensive.
Now, it hits hard, right? You've got 3 blue and a black with an automatic reroll. You've got counter with a reroll automatic. I mean, the counter on this thing is going to be so consistent. And then dodge 1, making them reroll dice. So this is just going to be a consistent, even the blue anti-ship isn't bad with, because Adept, it's a blue with a reroll. So this is just going to be consistent. So kind of like the TIE Defender in that regard, but I'm not sure.
But like the TIE Defender, I don't expect it to.
Yeah, but 4-hull, as we're saying.
It's 4-hull, and the dodge doesn't do anything against flak.
Yeah.
It is so stinking expensive. I know some people will absolutely love this. I imagine if you can get 1 or 2 of these just in the middle of a bomber ball, they'll just cause absolute havoc. You can't you won't be able to hit the damn thing. It'll be shredding your bombers. But man, if this comes up against any kind of solid anti-squadron or solid squadron resistance, I think it's going to crumble. Like, I cannot see this thing lasting against a Sloan ball.
No,
I mean, it's just going to get shredded.
Given its hull and its speed, totally expecting the aces in here to scatter potentially.
Probably.
Which, I mean, Jedi aces on that thing. I imagine the aces are going to be what it's all about. So I don't know that we'll see a lot of.
Yeah, I think that'll be okay. I mean, you don't see a lot of Jedi. You see, I mean, that would be thematic for the Clone Wars. You have a couple of Jedi in their Aether Sprites and surrounded by Torrents and various other clone squadrons. I think that would be perfectly thematic.
And they said we'd see multiple Jedi in the initial pack.
I think the pack even listed, it said it had 10 cards and 11 discs or something like that. Or maybe it was the reverse.
There's an extra ace, I think, than we might expect in this one. Just, I think, probably to squeeze us out some more Jedi.
Yeah. And I think they said a Jedi is flying a Y-Wing.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to...
They did say that.
Yep.
Yeah. Who could that be, actually?
Who could that be? So here's a couple of Republic-specific upgrades we've seen. Clone Gunners goes back a long time. So here's this clone-only, so kind of limited what ships they can get on there. But again, it's got a nice concentrate fire effect on there. And Implacable, which, again, Obi-Wan, let's just make things tougher, which is pretty good, right?
Yeah, and I didn't notice this on first pass, but the ship or squadron, like, you can save a squadron with this, which is, I think, actually probably the more interesting thing to me.
Yeah.
Because keeping at that distance 1 to 2 for a friendly ship, maybe it's a free projection experts kind of effect almost. So, why not? But that squadron effect has me very curious, being able to do
We
that.
want to just real quickly for people who haven't seen it yet. Next to the name Implacable, there's the circle with the 2 arrows in it. What that shows, it's a new symbology. That means that this card will automatically refresh in the status phase. And we'll see a little bit later some cards that don't necessarily automatically refresh. And we do have something else though here for Galactic Republic upgrades. The Clone Navigation Officer. So this is one of the spoilers Fantasy Flight gave us to show you guys today. And it has this new symbol. So it will, if it exhausts, it does not refresh on its own. The symbol below says you have to spend 1 of any type of command token in order to refresh this thing. Okay, now it starts with 1 nav token on it. And so it's kind of got some built-in refresh there. When you reveal a Confire, Nav, or Squadron command, you may exhaust this card to choose a friendly ship at distance 1 to 5. That ship may gain 1 command token matching your command, and you can spend tokens from this card to ready it. So this is great. It's
I think it's a great card.
Hondo.
It's more like Ramus even, because it's a friendly ship at distance 1 to 5, so it can be yourself.
It can. There's the cost to refresh it.
Yeah, but you can take it off the card.
But you get it twice.
You get it twice.
So it's like Veteran Captain. No, this is better than Veteran Captain for sure. It's
for 1 point more.
Such a cool, flexible card. I really like this guy.
Yeah. You can give it to yourself. You can give it to a buddy. It's a great flexible card. I think it does well with. I like seeing this teamwork that you're seeing out of the clone upgrades. Like with clone gunners, you need somebody else at the distance at close range. But I mean, you can put clone gunners in the weapon slot and nav officer in the officer slot, and you reveal your own Confire. You pass the Confire token you get from clone officer to your buddy over there, and then immediately grab it right back for clone gunners. It's just kind of a ready-made combo right there for you.
Yep. So super excited about that. I think there's just some fun things. And so we'll look at, okay. Then just a couple other upgrades we did see in the stream, or is that what these are from? Yeah. Munitions resupply, which again, mechanically, so I just want to talk this one through. It starts with 5 Confire tokens on it. You can exhaust it to hand out as many of them as you want at once. So it's like turn 1, Confire tokens for everybody, or whatever you want to do. But this one does not refresh unless you spend a Confire repair or nav token. So it's great for like the more ships you give it to, the more efficient it is as far as handing out a whole pile of tokens at once. If you're trying to use this to feed the same ship over and over, like say for Intensify Firepower, you're going to end up spending a lot of tokens just to refresh it. So it's not quite as efficient there.
What I like about it over like a Comsnet though is, especially for like a Rebel or an Imperial list with a Gazanti and a GR 75, you can't do your own command and use a Comsnet. So what I like here is you could use a munitions resupply, even if you're just, feeding one ship, you're still able to just pump out squadron commands on your own. So you exhaust it, you take 2 of the tokens off the card, you put 1 on your GR75, 1 on the ship you want, then you use the 1 you got from the card to refresh it, and then you just keep that up for 3 turns. All the while, that little flotilla is still spamming whatever else you might need it to, which is
probably Squadron.
Which is
probably Squadron. And so this has a fleet support icon, which we haven't actually seen on any of the spoiled ships yet. So we're assuming
it's got to be on something.
I thought they said it was on. I thought they said that the stream had a hard sell had one.
I think we said it, but we haven't seen it, I guess.
Yeah.
And then reactive gunnery, I think. This is just my favorite card.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, this is so good.
I think if everyone's going to immediately staple this to an Akbar MC 80 assault, everybody.
I don't know of a ship with a defensive retrofit I wouldn't take this on. It's so good. So I think this is just going to be a popular card. It's a really
I'd put it on a CR90.
Yeah, it's super hard accuracy. I love it on the MC75. I love it on the ISD. So
See, I'm not big on
It's
the
cheap
I'm not
enough
big
to
on the
go anywhere.
NC-75. I'm not big on the NC-75. You got single defense tokens. I'm gonna be the squeaky wheel. Sorry, no,
No,
this
it's
is
okay.
not displacing ECM off of MC-75s. Now I can see
Agate
I
MC-75.
can absolutely see this on like a MC-30, which isn't using its defensive right now.
Right.
But I mean, like 75 with 2 blacks. I'm just
For like the assault frigate, I like this more than local fire control, just because you often want to
flexible.
pick the token you want to use, and this gives you don't have to lose one. You still have all the utility, and you can kind of pick which token depending on how you're getting shot. So,
and I want a different weapons team on my assault frigate, please.
Also
Thank
that.
you.
So I think reactive gunnery is going to be probably one of the most popular upgrades for it. Is this just better than local fire control? I think so.
No.
It's got a different use than it's a different slot. So there's going to be times where local fire control's better. There's going to be times where reactive gunnery's better. Then there's going to be times when you don't have a choice between one or the other because you've only got the right slot.
What this actively displaces is probably reinforced blast doors and upgrades like that.
Yeah. More offense.
All right. So that's that. I think though, of all the Clone Wars upgrades we've seen, this is the one that's going to be most common in the Galactic Civil War ships. Yeah. All right. And so the part you all are really here for, sort of, Biggs
Sort of.
really has a song for us, which if you've listened to our podcast regularly.
I hope you're all ready for glory.
Excuse me while I hide.
As soon as I can prime this, here we go.
Oh, he's doing a strip show for us too. Fantastic.
Grand Moff Tarkin Victory, CR90's Tie B, Dodana, Janus Pride, Witch and Dutch combo. Gallon Haven Gladiators, Tycho Celchu, Escort Vader, Salvation, Redemption, Q, GenCon Special. Paragon, Mauler, Adder and Luke Demolisher, Yavaris, Worlds is Live, Garm Potato, A-Wing Time, ISD2 Slow Roll, Akbar gets a fishbowl, Advanced Projectors, XI7's 30 point, goodbye. We didn't start the nerfing, they've been all complaining since the game's been playing. We didn't start the nerfing, no we didn't mind it, but we've gotta fly it. World Cup, Radar 1, Fleet Ambushes, tons of fun, 10-1, 10-1, Clonisher on top. Wave 3, Wave 4, Fireballs, YT Swarms, Ammunition, Moth Munition, Len Munition drop. Flotilla Swarm, Yavaris, JJ's got some winning lists. Classic Ben, Squadron Spam, Nationals to Nova Land, Fast Worlds, Lipo Sun, Pelta Party, Canucks 1, Rican Zombie Squadrons, maxing high bids for player 1. We didn't start the nerfing, they've been all complaining since the game's been playing. We didn't start the nerfing, no we didn't mind it, but we've got to fly it. Jerry turns E95s, Pelta pushing Phantom Ties, Merrick Steel, Morna Key, all fighters follow me, Sarah Basie NRE, capture the VIP, Lambda Shuttle, Salvage Run, Blockade Run is tons of fun. Lone Aces, Quasar, Decaps, Pelta, Hammerheads, Corona, Overcosted Leia, Chimera, Radis, Mon Calamari, Exodus, Simoon, Goran, Kakin, and Showland. We didn't start the nerfing, they've been all complaining since the game's been playing. We didn't start the nerfing, no we didn't mind it, but we've got to fly it. Darth Vader boarding team, Thrawn 2-ship power team, USA wins again, early warning system, Phantom Sloan, price timing, something big is coming, Lando, donkeys, Agate's getting tanky, firepower intensified, dumpster fire starts to fly, spoilers are out today, what else do I have to say? We didn't start the nerfing, they've been all complaining since the game's been playing. We didn't start the nerfing, No, we didn't mind it, but we got to fly it. Okay, that's good enough.
Oh no, that well done. Yeah, absolutely. Respect, sir. Thank you. There you go. All right. Okay. Well, again, thank you for that, Biggs. We're, if nothing else, very much staying on brand here.
Today's Coaster of Gold is brought to you by actual spoilers. Are our spoilers coasters or gold?
All right. So we've looked at Galactic Republic. Let's look at CIS. We don't know what the new commanders are going to be in the starter, except we know Kraken, which not Kraken, but Kraken. Everybody got that straight. That yeah, that's obnoxious. Anyway,
please. Do we have Dooku or Grievous as our spoilers?
No, we don't. No, we don't. We only know that those two names were at least thrown out in the live stream. But we do know now Kraken he's my kind of admiral. Like, he's basically a little bit of IF without, or intensify firepower without having to build your fleet around it. I mean, you get to mod 1 shot per activation. So if you're double arcing, you don't get to do that, but you get to flip it to whatever face you want. Do you need the accuracy? Done. But to me, this is like a better version of Screed. Because you don't cost your die, you get your crit effect, boom. Now, he doesn't work on black because you can't do a double die thing. And yes, you are correct, Matt. Hard cells are going to be sent to die for Kraken. it may, in fact, be why they exist. So I love him with things like heavy ion emplacements, ion cannon batteries, effects like that. He's just going to be fantastic. And then also the way I like to build, he's going to let you build with less dice mod than you might otherwise. So yeah, very hyped about him. And then the Munificent. So we don't have as much about the Mooney as we did about the Acclimator, but this is kind of what I could scrounge up. I think one of the things that's striking right off the bat are the fire arcs, right? It's got a skinny front fire arc.
So good fire arcs. Oh.
It's kind of like playing the Starhawk. It's going to be really easy to double arc. I think that's easier to double arc with this.
Not just double arc, but get the double arc off and fly past.
Well, you're too slow.
Not get trapped in somebody's front arc.
Yeah. I think there are going to just be, that double arc potential there is great. 2 red, 2 blue out that front, 3 red out the side.
I think that's what's going to let it, I think, overcome the speed. Because, everybody's going to see speed 2 and immediately think this is a dead ship. But 1, you can see in the picture there, it looks like we got a support team for at least one of these. But 2, I mean, at long range, I'm not sure it really needs to. I mean, we don't know the cost, but I mean, if it's as aggressively priced as the Acclimator, just put free and link turbos on this thing and call it done, and let it just throw out 5 reds on a double arc at long range. Take that speed, throw quad battery turrets on there. As easy it is to double. If somebody's going fast, I mean, sure, get yourself your 2 extra dice, man. I think this is a solid little ship. 6 hull, but good number of shields, 4 to the front, 3 to the sides. Basically, you're looking at an assault frigate who has given up its evade for salvo. And the assault frigate is sturdy enough. Can you make out that rear arc? Is that
it looks 1
red or 2 reds, or it looks like 2 dice?
It looks like 2 dice, but it's really hard to say exactly what's going on back there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's yet another medium with salvo. I mean,
so but what you're saying is it's my assault frigate Mark IIA, but better, and with salvo already baked into it.
Yes.
This will
be your ship. This will be a slow version of the ship you want.
Yeah.
Not once I staple engine text to this sucker.
But why? Why bother?
I don't think you need to.
Vroom, vroom. Got to get to the fight first.
No, this is going to be one where you're going to play your, contested outposts and come to me type of objectives and get people to come to you. And a pair of these things can gun down just about anything.
I like this ship.
Yeah, I love this.
Well,
I want
I like
to
this
see
ship.
the price.
We see the
I want to
price,
see the
yes.
price.
That's going to be the big one.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just looking at it, if the speed 2 is a bummer, but that nav chart at speed 2, man, if you take a nav command, you can do a 90-degree turn.
Why are you doing nav commands?
So why are you? You don't need to. But this thing,
Just confire. Just confire a whole way, or squadron commands, or something.
If I confire, I can only add 1 die to one of my 2 attacks. I'd rather navigate so I get 2 attacks.
Always be Navin says, yes, of course, Jamie, always be Navin. But no, and honestly, this model's just pretty also. Let's take a look. The hard sell.
Go from a pretty model to a thing.
It's a
model.
ship, all right. Mm-hmm.
So 52 points. Yeah, I don't know. It's expensive.
Didn't we see the defense token suite on this thing somewhere?
I don't know if we have.
Yeah, it is. It's so. Oh no, that's the Munificent. Never mind. I guess we didn't see it.
I don't know if we've seen it. What we know is it's got 5 hull, and we know it's got 3 shields, 1 and 1. So it's got the same sort of hull and shield arrangement as a Nebulon. And then 52 points. That's like the cheap Nebulon, so it's kind of in there. Its side arc firepower at 1 red is not fantastic, but it looks like what blue-black flak back there. That's pretty solid. We don't know a lot about this ship other than we know it's kind of the cheap one, right?
Yeah, and it's not even that cheap, so it makes me think it's got some kind of decent defense token arrangement.
No rear dice, so probably not a salvo.
Probably not a salvo.
Probably not a salvo.
I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt to say probably an evade.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a small.
So hard sell battle refit, we know I don't remember if we know the name of the other one, but we've got to assume something's cheaper. But this is kind of an Empire situation where the cheapest ship, kind of like the Raider, just isn't that cheap. But yeah, we'll see what exactly this thing's going to end up being. Good.
We seem to know the least about the Separatists too. So,
and I do think the idea earlier, slaves and confire and throw 5 reds. I see nothing wrong with that plan for this ship.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
No,
that seems like
never
that.
a bad plan.
Never
Never a bad plan to drown
So-
the enemy in red dice. If you miss, well, we've got more.
It seems to fall somewhere in between, the Nebulon and the Hammerhead Scout, and we'll probably play somewhat similarly to the 2 of those, but we don't know yet.
Yeah, it's a pretty wide front arc, so you'll have pretty easy. I imagine you'll probably have pretty easy time slow rolling and just throwing reds out the front.
Yep. Yeah. It doesn't
At least
appear
with this version. I don't
CIS
even know what the other version looks like.
a fast-moving run and gun fleet. They're going to be more of we're going to slow roll and just munch things in front of us. But
It does feel that way so far.
We have a couple. Well, we didn't get as much about the CIS squadrons. They talked about it in the stream. Didn't have as much in the way of visuals. But we did get a look at an ace here. We've got the Vulture droid at 8 points, which there was a better image somewhere else of the AI anti-squadron where when it's commanded, you basically get to pick a die in your pool and just confire in a die. And then it's got swarm. So it's like better and worse than a TIE fighter, right? It might have blue, black, black, which is fantastic damage potential, or it might just be blue, black and not be so great. The red anti-squadron or anti-ship is oof. It doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
But it's cheap. And
It's 8 points. I mean, this is honestly probably better than a TIE fighter when commanded. I mean, you can get the die you want. You've got a very reliable black dice in the pool. So you're going to see a higher, I think, bottom for these than you'll usually see with TIE fighters. And, they're swarm, reserve hangar decks, yay.
Yeah.
Fighters for days.
Fighters for
absolutely.
days.
The ace is interesting here. It's an ace with intel. And then it's going to be a tough little guy to kill. If he can be hanging around with asteroids between, brace, scatter, and making you reroll, he's going to be a tough one to actually hunt down. So safe little intel ship.
Yeah.
Which seems good. And then they mentioned that
It's our first intel with scatter, right?
no.
Oh, no, Dengar, duh.
Dengar.
Dengar.
Yeah. they mentioned that the Tri-Fighters also have AI, and I think the Hyena.
They mentioned the hyenas. Yeah, they said that AI is kind of the staple of these droid fighters, and I think they said that the battery on the hyena is or the AI for the hyena is the battery. So they go from single tie bombers to double tie bombers when commanded.
Yeah, so
That
knowing
sounds
that
scary.
CIS has some double die bombers, that's gonna be a thing to watch out for.
Yeah.
And then I think they also talked a little bit about the screen, which is sort of the reverse escort. You have to attack someone else that comes on the bell bob. So that should be.
And that was going to be relay. I don't think we've seen an escort, which could explain how they might balance the hyenas being double die bombers as a generic. So
Just not having an escort, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, because I can't imagine they're slow. I mean,
no, I wouldn't think so.
Right.
Then we've got our CIS upgrades specific upgrades we've seen so far. Wat Tambor, who goes on your flagship and just says, "Give me your shields, I will take them," which is a very
thank you.
I'll take those shields off that hard sell to keep my Mooney alive. That seems fine. The T-Series tactical droid. Oh my goodness, I love this card. He's like Pocket Piet. I've spent a token. It's now a command. And that's fantastic. Even if you only use them a couple times in a game, that's just a great effect. So I think kind of going to be a popular officer for sure. I'm excited about him. And now he doesn't work on Con Fire, but going from a token to a full dial on a repair command is great. Not that these things really need to nav, but there's some options there. So no, I think the T-Series is just going to be all over the place. And then the Tide of Progress.
I am. You have no idea how excited I am for. Did someone say structural damage on my not assault frigate? No, it's actually no damage. Thank you.
This thing is that thing looks ridiculously cheap.
What a great
give to me.
So I love Tide of Progress. I don't
the
know
the fact that it can refresh. Oh my god, that's ridiculous.
So that's going to be a fun one. And then here's our new one. We have Battle Droid Reserves.
Hey,
Booster.
So support team. So this can go on our Moonies and does some interesting stuff here. Flip any number of face-up damage cards with the crew trait face down. So between Tide of Progress and this, are you really taking crits? And then discard face down, costs 1 fewer engineering points. The Mooney's got a repair of 4, so you can use this, and if you set up a dial token situation, you can pitch 3 cards, which is basically reinforced blast doors, but you can reuse it. So that's pretty good if you want to give that slot up.
And you want to spam repair commands.
Yeah. Well,
hey, look, Wat Tambor is sitting right there.
You can trigger it with a token.
You can, but so, you also, discard. You still have to pay to discard those cards with engineering points. So you want to
or someone else's shields. Wat Tambor.
Yeah. So there's.
Well, that's not. It doesn't have anything to do with shields.
No, but he turns shields into engineering points for your ship. Yeah. So one token.
So he goes and says, "I'll take 2 of your shields." And that repairs a hull. Thank you.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll see.
It's going to be an interesting card. And again, thanks to Fantasy Flight for letting us share that with you. That one with you guys today. All right, the upgrade pack. I think people weren't quite sure what to make of that until yesterday.
I think we all saw Geeks Nerdgasm pretty much on every piece of Armada social media in existence.
Yeah. This is an exciting card. So I put these cards up here kind of as an example of what to expect. So we've got Leia. We had a points drop. So do we get to expect more points drops? I hope so. Or maybe some points increases. We'll find out. We've got TRCs. This is nice just because this is a card that's been errata and they've gone ahead and we're getting a fixed version of it. Also putting the new symbology on there. So that's nice. Otherwise, the card isn't changed, but that's good. And then XI7s, it looks like they're going out and just cleaning up some rules. So
The rules haven't changed. The card is errated.
Yeah. Or sorry, cleaning up some cards. And if this is an idea, no, they said what, 18% of the card pool got touched. So we have some expectation of, what was it, like around 40 something cards maybe getting some sort of work. Now it could be as simple as what happened to turbo laser reroute circuits. It could be points drops like Leia's. It could be rewordings like XI7s. We really don't know. But I'm hyped to find out for sure. So that's kind of a we'll wait and see. I wish we had more to share from you from this one, guys. We do not. Yeah.
Yeah, he said what, 18% of the cards? That's a lot of cards.
It's a lot of cards. I
want to know all of them.
Yeah. And he said there's 290 cards in the pack. There are not that many cards in the pool, so there's definitely going to be multiples in there. So that's good to know. So yeah, that's going to be fun. That's probably, I think, the thing people are most excited about finding more about. The other thing I didn't put a slide up here for is the dial pack, which everyone's like, why are they making a dial pack? So they did clarify in the stream yesterday, going forward after these starters for the 2 Clone Wars factions, the ships will not include speed or command dials, which is great. I do not need any more.
I know.
So this is how new players are going to build up their reserves of those if they need to. So that's going to be a thing. And then there's pass tokens in there. And
they kind of dodged that one.
Yeah, there was kind
sort of dodge.
There's something there.
So we're expecting something to happen with pass tokens, but we don't know. Again, we were told to wait, so we will wait impatiently.
We will wait impatiently.
Yeah.
What do you think we did, Justin? We definitely asked them.
Oh, yes, we did.
Get hyped.
And then we got this. This is exciting. So we've got, on the left, we've got the Recusant destroyer, we've got the Providence cruiser, we've got the Venator, and then we have the not modified Pelta, which the Pelta we know and love, well, I love, from currently.
We all love the Pelta,
yes.
Schmitty. We all love it.
A modified version. This is the thing, so its wings are like swept back. It looks very different. But yeah, so really hyped to find out what these ships are coming. And it implied that at least information in January and maybe ships first quarter. That is fantastic news that we're not going to have to wait around too long to really build up these new Clone Wars fleets so that they can kind of this is awesome.
Yeah. You can't have Republic for long without the Venator. I mean, that thing is just, if there's one ship that shows up in a Clone Wars episode, it's almost always the Venator.
Yeah. It's great. And so it sounds like, we're going to have a less of a wait for the Venator and Providence to show up than we had like for the MC-80 and ISD show up for back in the Wave 1 days. So,
and more Peltas.
And more
Peltas.
Yes, more Peltas.
Get
and
that lovely brick out there.
Yeah, and whatever that pokey Recusant thing is going to do, I'm here for it. Yeah, so that's the content we have to cover for today, which, we've gone just about an hour, so that's pretty cool. We've got some time. We can do questions, which can be either throw them in the chat and we'll answer them, or if you would like to, raise your hand and actually talk, we can do that. Anyone know how big the Recusant is? Like,
to the Google.
Yeah, check Wikipedia. I don't know.
If I remember correctly, it's on the lower end of the larges, just like the Venator.
How each faction's going to play on the table. They implied in the stream yesterday that Republic's going to be kind of like the Imperials, but a little more teamwork going on. And
it's that mix between...
The droids are going to be disposable, I think they said.
Yeah, there's going to be some disposability to them. The ships might feel a little like Rebel ships, but they definitely won't have any sort of near the teamwork thing going on. The Recusant is a very angry MC-30. You know what? I could see that. I do think it's a little longer than the Munificent. So it should at least be a medium. we will see.
Yeah, it's listed at about looks right around 2 kilometers, it looks like. So that puts it in the large range.
An MC-30 that never got a hug as a child. Yeah.
It
was the biggest.
And so I went to the gym because it got picked on.
Yeah. No, it's just totally.
And then the Providence, I think that one's pretty big too, isn't it?
The Providence is a big ship. Yeah, it is. That's going to be a large for sure. It's beefy.
Such a cool
regarding Gene's question about shelf updates, I think you need to go to a third-party supplier for shelf updates. If you remember earlier from mine, I use the IKEA shelf update. You can still. Yep.
It's the right one to use for sure.
Did we finish on how we expect them to play? I was distracted Googling.
Yeah, I think we did. One thing I meant to bring up earlier, there was a question posted in the forums today about sort of the issues with Fantasy Flight manufacturing their stuff in China. We did, as part of the process of getting these spoilers, and we're actually working on setting up an interview with one of the devs on our podcast, we posed that question to them, and what they can basically say is, the people that we have access to talk to at Fantasy Flight, their PR and marketing people, they aren't the ones who deal with the manufacturing to ask that question. They have asked their corporate people and let the corporate people know that a lot of their consumers are asking, what's going on. So hopefully we'll find something. How do y'all feel about the card size change?
Whatever.
I'm not thrilled about it, but I think it's mainly a cost-saving measure. And in that regard, if it means that this game continues to get made, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Whatever streamlines it and gets it out the door faster. If it means I get stuff faster, I think I'm actually really okay with it.
It feels inconvenient, but if we were to rewind 5 years and the game was released with all the cards the same size, it would never have impacted my choice to play the game, right? I mean, it seems more obnoxious because it's a change. If it had launched this way, I don't think anyone would have noticed.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying for sure. I think Admiral Tater, pretty much everybody's favorite plastic crack organizing tray and token guy, he's already started pushing some new trays to do it, and I think he's got a decent solution that kind of maximizes table space while still getting all the cards on there.
Just be like me. Don't play with a lot of upgrades, and you'll be fine.
We've got a hand raised from there. Faith and Ted.
Oh, hi Tater.
Hi Tater.
Buy his stuff. It's cool. Yeah. No, I don't think anyone's like thrilled with it. We get it, and it's not going to change that I'm going to really enjoy the game. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't.
Yeah, I think most people are like mildly annoyed, understanding.
Oh! Somebody has their hand up.
Somebody has their hand up. I should do my job.
I think you.
There we go.
Now.
Yay!
So our question for you today: what ship are each of you most excited for in these starter sets?
The Mooney. I love the Munificent. It's a pretty ship. What I've seen of the card looks fantastic, and I'm all in on droids. So
it's an assault frigate, but probably better. So yeah, that's mine. That's 100% mine.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a shocker. I'm different than these two. It's definitely the C-70 for me. It's just the combination.
A speed force ship and truthiness?
Yeah, I know.
No.
Crazy. What a crazy thought. Kenobi ESTs and the ability to just kite like a jerk is just that excites me a lot.
What they could drop potentially like 4 damage in a shot from that if there's a double.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nick asked, what changes are you hoping the upgrade card pack brings? More stuff like that Leia change. I mean, honestly, right? More stuff that we can get some of these cards that don't see the table as often, give them some points drops to make them more attractive. More stuff like the XI7 change again. that's more gold, less coasters. Let's get cards out there.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
we can probably go through a litany of upgrade cards that we'd all love to see changed. I mean, just in the line of Leia, I mean, Leia, talk of Leia points drop immediately brings to mind Tarkin points drop, because pretty much the same situation. So how do you
that buff he's been needing? It's going to be great.
I'm hoping that we don't see as many good cards brought low as we see
bad cards
brought up.
Are you all scared of Geek 19 now that Leia is 28 points?
Terrified.
We're never scared of
on the
Geek.
stream.
No, you should be
We're never
terrified.
scared of Geek.
You should be terrified. The simple fact that the guy was able to place in the top 10% of tournaments while using a complete and total garbage commander should terrify everyone.
So we'll see what happens. I think there's a lot of cards, we've been going through with our Coaster and Gold series that could use a little love. So if they're doing things like they did with Leia, like they did with XI7s, which is getting advanced projectors back out there, I just think that the opportunity to get more of those cards to where there's there. And are we going to get any sort of like nerf type situations? I think there's a few things that stick out above the grass, and if we mow the grass down to the same level, that would be for the good of the game.
I mean, yeah, and the simple fact that they're doing something with past mechanics leads me to believe I'd have a hard time seeing Governor Price, Bail Organa, or Strategic Advisor not getting touched in some way.
Yeah.
If they're doing something with past mechanics, I mean, those three come to mind immediately.
What card would you most like to see buffed? I think Garm needs to work on like 4 turns, maybe 6 turns out of the game.
No. No. If anything, you've displayed his need for a nerf.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to admit, Garm is the best admiral, so clearly he needs some rebalancing.
What card would I like buffed most? Oh man, I'm really ecstatic with the Leia buff. I have to admit. I mean, it just makes a card that is completely worthless interesting to me again. Just I don't know if it's going to be good or bad or meh, but it definitely brings open options. Yeah, I think that's the only one I can really think of off the top of my head.
So, Mad, this is a pretty good question. How do we think traits could open up the design space? So I think there's some potential there. So if you look at
question, I have no idea.
Take a card like Engine Techs. That doesn't tend to get put on ships that you don't want to go, or you can't put a support team on a slot without Engine Techs going on there. So if they put a trait requirement on Engine Techs and a trait on a ship, then there'd be a way of having a ship with a support team that couldn't Engine Tech. Now, I don't have any reason to think they're doing that. That's just sort of an example of the types of things you could do where you could have a slot be on a ship and not give it, or give it access or not give it access to some specific cards. So I think there's some potential there to help have 2 ships maybe with the same upgrade slot set be differentiated. But that is probably going to be a thing for future waves.
Yeah, they didn't really detail how they're looking to do that. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah. Yes. So here's a question: will cards like MS1 and ion cannon batteries see more play now with exhaustible cards with a refresh cost? Yeah. And sure, why not?
I think ion cannon batteries, especially. I mean, Schmitty, I know you already love them, but I can see a much stronger case for bringing them this time. If it's you got so many of these non-recur cards, and if they bring it to anything in that upgrade pack, I mean, that's huge.
More cards that exhaust, MS1s are great. If there's more cards that need tokens to feed them, ion cannon batteries get better. Those are already cards that I play with. So how many waves do you think it'll take for the new factions to really get off the ground? So we're going to look at, after these 2 waves, we're going to have 4 ships. Now the fact that we're getting 2 admirals right off the bat in the starters is going to help. If they continue that trend and we get more than a couple admirals coming up,
I think it'll take till wave 10.
Yeah.
I cannot see them standing on their own, especially, I mean, right now the game is dominated by large ships. And the fact that both of them are only going to have a medium and a small to start off with, I think wave 10 is where you're really going to start seeing these factions come into their own.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I think the game's in a pretty good space. One of the things they do have the opportunity to do is they can put some powerful cards in with these Wave 9 and 10 ships that are faction locked as a way to kind of help maybe get the balance set a little faster than they might otherwise. It's going to take forever for the choices to be the same, but I think the power level can get there.
Yeah.
How long do you think it will be until Separatist and Republic flotillas?
Never.
Well, if they're able to adjust activation mechanics, they may not need to.
Who knows? Yeah.
But I mean, we're looking at Wave 10 right here, so Wave 11 is the earliest we can expect, and who knows when that's going to be.
Yeah.
Maybe flotillas without scatter.
Who knows what they're going to do? I mean, but
I'm pretty happy with where they are. I mean, if they figure out how to make activations work without flotillas, then never is fine with me.
Scatter anyway. That is accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We just need to see some more point costs, see what the other CIS admiral is, just to kind of see where they sit. I think what the biggest thing from what we've seen with the that slow munificent is that thing's gonna have a rough time with onagers. So it's gonna take maybe a little bit for them to feel better about getting onagered, at least the separatists. So
and that's kind of why I think you got to keep them cheap. Don't just accept your fate, make them shoot you a lot of times.
No one feels good about being onagered.
No, I'm starting to feel like there's a problem in the meta with the onager.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, that's kind of there. If there was one rumor that you want to start in the Armada community, what would you want it to be?
Oh boy!
Wow. Yes, that is a totally separate show. You are correct. We'll get there sometime.
Here's a rumor. Did you know that when they created the Biggs card, they actually used my likeness? It's true. They got a picture of me while I was
absolutely true.
While I was at 2016 Worlds, they got a picture of me and used it for the Biggs card.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Perfect rumor to start.
Brilliant. I love it. That's a wonderful rumor.
Does Biggs take requests? Thinking Kenny Rogers. Don't count your VP while you're standing at the table.
I think yes. I think that can totally happen.
No, damn it.
Language. This is a children's show.
Something like that. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up there. We've got an hour, which is a pretty solid amount of time. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for supporting us. Definitely. Do you have any? Nope, didn't notice that, Robert. But yeah, shoot us questions. Join our Discord. Let us know. We're having fun with this, and there we go.